Hello, my name is Austin Culbertson, and this is my presentation on being for a mandatory marijuana drug testing policy for employees in the workplace. Introduction. With many states across the United States recently legalizing marijuana, it has become a big debate if there should be a mandatory drug testing policy for employees in the workplace. Employers need to find a fine line between letting employees have freedom, but while also enforcing safe work environments. With the changes in laws regarding marijuana and legal usage of it, it has added more complexity when it comes to drug policies. This brings me to the important question. Do you believe that there should be a mandatory marijuana drug testing policy for employees in the workplace? I will give you my input and maybe I can sway your opinion. Here's my position. I am for having a mandatory marijuana drug testing policy for employees in the workplace. Here is why. It is best for the overall safety of the workplace. It keeps overall productivity up, and it is important from a legality perspective for the employers. Argument number one, workplace safety. Using marijuana can impair different things such as reaction time, overall judgment, your coordination. These different impairment examples as a result of marijuana usage increase the overall risk for accidents in the workplace. Pictured here is a really cool graphic I found that is a stop and go reaction time from as a result of THC behavior impulses that I thought was interesting. Here's my evidence for argument number one. According to the study, the legalization of recreational marijuana was associated with a 10% increase in workplace injuries among workers aged 20 to 34. And while this might seem like a small percentage, for small business owners, the implications can be significant. An increase in workplace injuries can lead to higher insurance premiums, loss of productivity, and in some cases, legal consequences if safety standards are not met. One such study reported by the National Institute on Drug Abuse found that 55% more industrial accidents, 85% more injuries, and 75% greater absenteeism among employees who tested positive for marijuana compared to those who tested negative. According to an NSC survey, more than half of employers that eliminated THC testing reported an increase in incidents or workplace performance concerns. Argument number two, productivity in the workplace. The use of marijuana can lead to the reduction of many things amongst employees in the workplace, such as overall focus, attendance, and motivation to work. And by having drug policy in place, this will promote employees to not use the drugs and it will allow them to be productive to their best abilities in the workplace. Here's my evidence for argument two. When workplaces have a drug policy and testing measures into place, studies show that a lower portion of employees who reported drug use. In a survey and after tabulating all the responses, the researchers found a negative correlation between those who use cannabis before and during work with task performance, and this indicates a decline in performance when using cannabis prior to or while on the job. Cannabis doesn't just affect how someone feels at work, it can affect whether they even show up at all. And according to one survey by U.S. Workplace, employees who use cannabis are more likely to miss work, especially due to illness or injury. And in another national data set, workers with cannabis use disorder miss nearly 3 times as many days as non-users. Even occasional users showed a bump in sick days compared to abstainers. Argument number three, overall legality and responsibility. It is important for employers to protect their employees, their business, and their company, and their overall reputation. Having drug policies in place by having mandatory marijuana testing allows businesses and employers to reduce legal risks. Here's my evidence for argument number three. While OSHA might not set explicit standards for drug-free workplaces, substance abuse in the workplace can be a hazard to the user and others. If this is considered the case at your business, you are legally required to ensure your employees are drug-free, including marijuana, to avoid causing harm to themselves or others. A non-existent or vague drug testing policy can expose employers to liability, but applying the Department of Transportation requirements to all employees can create problems as well. This is like for jobs that require driving and use of heavy machinery and stuff like that. Employers must carefully craft drug testing policies and train their advisors on how to apply them. To minimize the legal risk involved, employers conducting pre-employment drug testing need to be familiar with the state-specific laws governing marijuana use where they have facilities or employees. This is because it's so different and varies from state to state because not everyone has it legalized. Here's my conclusion. Marijuana usage can become a safety issue due to the changes it makes in your system, such as judgment, coordination, and reaction time. And this can cause harm in the workplace and cause accidents to both yourself and those around you. It can also make employees lack work production, which is why there needs to be standardized testing in place to eliminate that. And lastly, employers need to have policies in place that are legally compliant and help decrease the marijuana presence in the workplace. These things are important because with legalization constantly expanding, employers and employees need to have an insured and safe work environment. Therefore, having the drug policy of mandatory marijuana testing is vital in the workplace. Here are my references. Thank you.